Brother lads, welcome back to Cossy Arsenal Podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. So there is a conversation that we should be having about Eddie NKETIAH, and we've had it on this channel for a very, very long time. And for now, I think it's all about this season. I don't want us to talk about Eddie NKETIAH and the future. It's right about now. What has Mikel Arteta got to do to drop Eddie NKETIAH? And if we drop him, what do we do, right? Why isn't Mikel Arteta dropping him? I'm going to back my manager still, and then I'm going to go astray. I will tell you my reasons why I think Eddie NKETIAH doesn't have to start for Arsenal and play each and every game. But then also, guys, we need to talk about other players. Like I said, if you're crucifying Eddie NKETIAH, then you crucify every other player that is not playing well. We did it with Gabriel Martinelli on the 90 More podcast. We have to talk about Xhaka. We have to talk about Benjamin White as well. Because for me, look, I think our team is dropping off. We've had a drop-off. And this kind of drop-off is coming from a few players, sorry, not a few, but a couple of players that are actually not doing the basics right. And for me, the moment you're not doing the basics right, that is it. And Mikel Arteta should emphasize this. He's already talked about the standards. He's already said whoever doesn't actually fulfill the standards, whoever doesn't live up to the standards of this football club, doesn't deserve to be here. And if the standards are that you've got to do the basics right, then that should be non-negotiable. But tell me, let me know in the comment section, what should we do with Eddie NKETIAH, Ben White, and Granit Xhaka? It's three players that I've looked at, and their performances have actually dropped off so much. I think the other one is Gabriel Martinelli, but it's now useless to talk about Gabriel Martinelli because he's been dropped off the starting lineup. In the last game against Aston Villa, he started off the bench, but he came on and had a massive impact. Hit the like button for me. Let's get this one to 300 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well. And of course, get involved in the comment box below. Now, let's start off with Eddie. Because I think this conversation is about a lack of good performances, right? Eddie NKETIAH as a striker, I've got to acknowledge this. He's done well for us now ever since the World Cup. We were all worried, what were we going to do without Gabriel Jesus? What if Eddie NKETIAH doesn't come around? Should we sign a striker in January? We had all the conversations. Mikel Arteta took a gamble, and his gamble was, I have Martinelli, I have NKETIAH, and I'm going to bring in Leandro Trossard. Three players who can play down through the middle. If Eddie doesn't do it, then definitely I'll play, Martinelli there. If he doesn't do it, then I have Fabio Vieira and then Leandro Trossard as well. So we understood the reason as to why Arsenal didn't sign a number 9 in the summer. It was literally, we play Eddie NKETIAH until Gabriel Jesus comes back. I mean, for all the justice in the world, Eddie NKETIAH started off very well. He started off so superbly, scoring some vital goals there in that team, especially that goal against Man United. Look, we might crucify him, we might say whatever we are gonna say, but let's not take away the positives. Let's not take away the huge positives he's done and had as a player. So he scores a brace against Man United, and we are all geared up, and we are all, yes, that's Eddie, that's the boy, that's the man. And then he goes on to miss sitters in each and every game of the 5 appearances he's had after Manchester United. Actually, before that, he had missed sitters in a very crucial game at the White Hart Lane against Tottenham Hotspur. He had done that. And we all said, okay, it's the first game. Let's see what happens against Man United. He comes against Manchester United. He delivers. Doesn't against Everton. Doesn't against Brentford. Doesn't against Manchester City. Look, and doesn't against Aston Villa. These are crucial games where we need every chance we create on our XG calendar to go into the back of the net. It's as simple as that. I don't care what people say. Every XG that we are creating now must be converted. And you know what he's doing? He is, doing these little little dinks over the goalkeepers. That is for the England under 21s, England under 20s, not for the Premier League. So for me, why he should be dropped is number one, the conversion rate. I mean, you cannot be our striker, and that is your conversion rate. You cannot be our striker, and you're missing chances for lunch, dinner, supper, wherever, Valentine. Look, he doesn't care the occasion. He will miss, right? Look, and I think his second name right now is NKETIAH, to be honest, right? We've been talking about, if you're looking for the worst strikers in the Premier League, there is Wout Weghorst for Man United and NKETIAH for Arsenal. It's simply not good enough. Simply not good enough. But the second reason why he must be dropped from this Arsenal team is the way he allows other players, to play. He's killing that connection up top, right? Of course, one of the reasons why Xhaka, Martinelli, and all these other players on the left-hand side have been flourishing is Gabriel Jesus. And we've talked about it before on this channel. And we said, with Gabriel Jesus, it's not the goals. Everybody's going to say, oh, we have Marcus Rashford. He's having, 12 goals or 14 goals in this amount of appearances. Victor Osimhen is doing this. But with Gabriel Jesus, his work rate, his ability on the ball is what matters to a club like Arsenal. And for me, NKETIAH, I'm sorry, you do not have that. Yes, he drops into those deeper areas. But what does he do? He drops into the deeper areas, and what does he do? Right? And everybody, all these pundits, all these rival fans saying NKETIAH's, the other aspects of NKETIAH's game have actually become better. They have not. I watch him every single weekend, every single game. The aspects of his game, apart from missing chances, have actually not gone up. The only aspect of his game that is going up is missing chances. To be honest, look, I don't even want to start. So for me, NKETIAH must drop. If we want Gabriel Martinelli, Granit Xhaka, and all these other players to get back into the team, just to allow Xhaka that space to run into, to allow Gabriel Martinelli that space to run into, to do all that, drop Eddie and play Gabriel Martinelli. So the solution, of course, there is a big question there. With Xhaka, you have Fabio Vieira. With Ben White, you have Tomiyasu. With Eddie NKETIAH, there is a question. And the question is Cossy, who plays when he drops to the bench. It's a no-brainer. For me, it's a no-brainer. We saw it in the last game when Martinelli came on for Leandro Trossard. We saw it. Gabriel Martinelli running through the middle, making those runs down through the middle. That is the guy, right? The reason that's why Marcus Rashford is being praised right now is his speed and finishing. Marcus Rashford has nothing else to his game that he's doing right now. Speed, which is absolutely key. If you're going to be, a forward in systems like Pep's, Erik ten Hag's, and Mikel Arteta's, he's got the pace and the right amount of pace, and the finishing, which is top world class at the moment. So Gabriel Martinelli doesn't have those many chances that he botches. Actually, in my opinion, the more I see Gabriel Martinelli, the more I believe he's more suited to be a Marcus Rashford. At times, play him down through the middle. He wants to have that striker that shifts a little bit to the left or shifts a little bit to the right, and then Martinelli has those goal-scoring opportunities because he's so clinical. Remember the goals he scored against Leeds United this season. Clear example. So for me, look, if you play like Gabriel Martinelli, one, he's going to allow Saka drift inside. He's always going to allow the likes of Xhaka to have those goal-scoring opportunities because he will walk, he will move away from that spot, going away with a few players, a few defenders. Eddie NKETIAH just doesn't have that. But then the third reason why I want him out of the lineup, he lacks the threat of a number 9. This geezer cannot jump in the air with Yeremina. This guy cannot jump in the air with Webster. This guy cannot... Look, he's won a header against Man United, and guess against who? Aaron Van Bissaka, the worst defender in the league, okay? But if you put him... You look at him in that Aston Villa game. He was against Ezra Konsa, and it wasn't even a battle. It wasn't even a battle. And even when he won the headers, he won 2 of them. One, I think, dinked onto the crossbar, and the other absolutely wayward. Absolutely wayward. Like, he hit it. I don't know. So for me, Eddie, I'm sorry, but Eddie has got to drop to the bench. It's a no-brainer. Mikel Arteta knows it. Everybody's looking at it. Play Gabriel Martinelli down to the middle. You can play Fabio Vieira as a false nine. You can play Emil Smith as a false nine. We can do so many changes to that lineup without damaging our consistency. And then it works out very, very well. The next player that has to drop from this team is Benjamin White. Oh my God. What did I just watch over the weekend? What did we see over the weekend? And of course, because we were in celebratory mode, I never wanted to ruin it for Arsenal fans. I never wanted to be too negative. But let's talk about this guy now. This guy is struggling to make 2-yard passes. Ben White is struggling to get the basics right. When we talk about getting the best, at least NKETIAH is making the passes right? Because, I mean, he pressed Ezra Konsa, lays it off for Odegaard, and Odegaard misses. But with Ben White, the crosses are absolutely awful. The 2-yard, 1-yard passes are absolutely awful. And the runs past Saka are absolutely disgusting. You know what he does? He doesn't give himself time and space to cross the ball. He's literally leaning into Saka as he's walking past him or behind him. And I'm asking myself, does he do this intentionally? Does he realize? Does he realize it when he's doing it? Or he just goes, I've made the run, play the ball. If he's doing that, it's not helping. It's absolutely not helping. So Ben White, for me, for all reasons, you've got to drop him. But the biggest reason why he's got to drop to the bench is Takeru Tomiyasu. You can't, look, we can lose the title race for any reason in the world. And I will agree, okay? Injuries, missing goal scoring opportunities, and everything. The one reason I will never agree and one reason I will never, tolerate and stand is Arsenal losing the title race because we failed to pick players that are better in certain positions. The better player at right back for us right now is Takeru Tomiyasu. I don't care what people say. I do not care. Yes, he had a howler who had the worst game in Arsenal colours against Manchester City. But what about Ben White? Against mere Aston Villa, poor game. Against Manchester United, very poor game. Every opponent he's played after the World Cup, he's been atrocious. He's been so bad. And we've always talked about him. We've always, asked questions. This guy's a centre-back. Why try to play him where Tomiyasu plays? Tomiyasu, whenever he comes onto the pitch, plays so well. Why play him in that position? Like, why? Someone explain to me. Why does he do that? Why does Mikel always do that? So Ben White, for me, he's got to drop. His performances, I think he can turn them around. I don't want to be too negative. I think he can turn his performances around. But for now, to the bench, okay? To the bench. Let's play our best players. That's what we want. Before we think about can we rotate Odegaard? Can we rotate Saka? Can we put these stinking players who are stinking the place around out of the starting lineup? I love them. I love my players. They have given us a reason to dream. They've given us a reason to believe. And part of the team that has given us a reason to believe is Benjamin White. But not because it's better than Tomiyasu. It's only because he's the manager's favorite. Is it the £50 million that we paid for him? That should not be the issue. Okay? That should not be the issue. Ben White, drop to the bench. And number 3, this is a little bit harsh, but Xhaka. And with Xhaka, I'm going to be a little bit calm. I want to use a very, very soft voice with Granit Xhaka because put some respect on that guy's name. He's turned himself around and he's become a favorite for the fans. But my problem with Xhaka is consistency. And the problem is not with Xhaka. The problem is with Mikel Arteta. This geezer cannot play 38 games consecutively as a box-to-box creative guy, right? And Mikel Arteta knows this because you always know the limit and the capacity of your players. But whenever we go into a transfer window, he seems to hide. He's playing hide and seek instead of signing a central midfielder. How many years now have we talked about signing a central midfielder? How many windows have we talked? 6 bloody windows. We are chasing a ghost in terms of a central midfielder. There's a time when we even started, hearing reports. They want a central midfielder, but the name is not clear. There's no one. They're chasing no one. And now they want to bring in Declan Rice. Is Declan Rice a fucking central midfielder? He's not. So, to be honest, Xhaka is not a bad player. Xhaka, excellent player. And if Mikel Arteta decides to play him every single game until the end of the season, I won't have a problem. But if we want better performances, if we want more creativity, if we want to boost our XG, I mean, we can't. Odegaard made 7 key passes. 7 key passes in the last game. You know what that means? It means you're having one guy that is, tasked with creating chances for you. Because we do not play with a creative right back, and our left back literally tucks into midfield and is not that creative, then we've got to add to the creativity. The second number 9, like Baka do it, Gavi and Pedri. That is what we're trying to do. I'm not trying to say we are trying to copy Baka, but that's what we're trying to do. Gavi with the creativity, Pedri with the creativity. That is what we're trying to do. So for me, it might be a little bit harsh, and that's why I didn't put him on the thumbnail. But Xhaka for Fabio Vieira or Xhaka for Emile Smith-Rowe. It's straightforward. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Are you fed up with some of those performances, especially from NKETIAH and Ben White? Should we give them more time? Should we keep the team intact as well? That is very, very important. Should we keep it intact? Because, look, Mikel doesn't drop these guys, not because he doesn't want to, but because he believes keeping your team intact is better. And I agree with him. Yeah, surprisingly, I told you I'll back my manager. I agree with him. The more you keep your team intact, the more you keep your team together, the better the chemistry, the better the passing lanes, the better the passing combinations. And I think we've seen it with Manchester City, players like Ike Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Rodri. They are those undroppables. They are those players that literally don't change, okay? Just to create that chemistry and those passing combinations. And I don't have a problem with that, surprisingly. But if you're talking about merit, if you're talking about he has to merit to start, drop those 3. And then we'll have a better season. Even if we don't drop them at once, don't drop them at once. I wouldn't be in support of that. But can we drop Eddie for the next game, please? You can play Ben White. You can play Xhaka. I'll give you that. But can we drop Eddie Nketiah for the next game? And then if Ben White continues getting the basics wrong, drop him for Everton. If Xhaka continues to ghost and becomes Xhaka we ghost, then drop him for is it Bournemouth, right? I mean, just drop them. Just drop them. We need the points. See you soon.